My name is Blue Saint Cyr. I'm from the Bear Clan. I'm from here in Winnebago, a member of the Winnebago tribe. I'm also the Ho-Chunk Renaissance Director for the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. So our program has started the initiative this year to resurge and re-strengthen our harvest gathering. And in the language we say Wahahi Oshka. Wahahi is harvest, and then our woshka is our way of life. And by doing that, that involves a lot of our traditional things that we've done during this time, and that includes, looking at the deer that we use to feed ourselves and our family, looking at some of the corn, the crops, the plants we use to make our traditional medicines, and all the activities that go with this time of year is what we want to re-strengthen and have our people understand that this is our traditional way of life, and making sure that we strengthen those ways as Ho-Chunk people. And we're calling upon a lot of our clan leaders, our elders, our fluent speakers, our people who have the knowledge, who are willing to share this for our tribe. And so our program has taken an initiative this year to step forth and to plan this in the best way we can. Also, that accompanies this type of year is also our tribal dances. And our tribal dances include the bean dance, include the green corn dance. And so with those dances, we also want to strengthen and educate our children and also our people about why we did those, and also how those tie with our way of life.
I'm Lorelei Decora, and through my father, I'm a member of the Thunderbird clan. And my mother is Minikoju Lakota from Cheyenne River. And in the community, I'm an RN, BSN. I've been a nurse for over 35, maybe 40 years. And back in 1992, I was worried about the diabetes epidemic because I was a public health nurse at the time, and the inpatient at Rosewood Hospital. I went to see one of my patients, and then I went down to all the different rooms checking in on the patients, saying, "Hey, what are you in here for?" Kind of joking around with them. And when I got done, everybody in the hospital that day, there was like 16 patients. They were all in there with diabetes complications. And that's when the epidemic hit me. This is in 1992. And I thought this was happening right in front of me, and I didn't even see it. And here I am, a nurse. So it just happened that summer I was sundancing. And in the Sundance, there's some things that have to be done the same, like how they get the tree, they bring the tree, what they have in the ground before they. And one thing that they always do is whoever's running that Sundance, they have a buffalo hide shaped like a human and a buffalo, and they have to be tied on that tree. And I sundanced before, but I didn't really pay attention, but this year I did. I was watching that and I was thinking, why do we do that? So on the third day of the Sundance, it was real breezy, and here I could see that buffalo and that human shape. They were twirling in the wind, and I thought, the answer is in our traditions. We can get out of this epidemic. It's gotta be in our traditions. We gotta treat the food, the buffalo, like it's medicine again. And so just then there was one of our medicine men, he was watching, and so at the end of the Sundance, I went and told him what my revelation was. He said, "You're right, in any way I can help you, I'm gonna help you." So the traditional ways, our values, our worldview are all important. And sometimes I think, as horrible as it is, maybe we got this epidemic so that it can lead us back to who we are. Because they say there's always a medicine for everything, every illness.
I am Michelle Lemire. I am currently working at Ho-Chunk Renaissance as an assessment coordinator. I also do a lot of work in teaching about Native American ethnobotany around the community. We hear people say nothing is promised, tomorrow isn't promised. Advances in our way of life is not promised. So I think it's a good idea to actually hang on to the skills and knowledge that we did have as a people in order to ensure that our people are always taken care of. because a lot of people aren't going to have that. If so, let's say something drastic happens to our economy and people start going hungry and food starts becoming short, then our people need to be able to live off the land just like we have always done. And that knowledge will also take us back to where our ancestors are. It'll help us reconnect with our roots and help us, I guess, learn a mindset about how our people lived, how our people thought, how our people saw the land and the relationship we have with the land. And I think that's vitally important to understanding who we are as Ho-Chunk people, because we lived off the land. We didn't buy a lot of things. We didn't go have shopping centers and stuff to buy things. We lived off the land. How important it is to work for our own food, to go out and forage, to learn those plants and learn what we can eat and what we can't eat. Because right now things are too convenient. They're too easy. You can get a whole meal for under 10 bucks and we didn't have to work for it. So we don't really appreciate it that much. We could eat, a few nibbles here and there and throw it away. But when we have to work for our food and actually have to put love and effort into it, we're going to appreciate it more and we're going to treat it with a lot more respect. And I think it's that kind of mindset that will help us heal, because there's so much heart disease and diabetes and cancer in our people that I think in order to be healthy people, we need to go back to our roots.
Hi, my name's Isaac Smith. My Indian name's Wakan Jessup, Thunder Clan. I come from Victoria Pear and Gus Dave Smith. The tribe asked me if I would be willing to help out with their food sovereignty, getting things in line and getting some stuff planted in the ground. And so I told them that I was interested in helping out. And we had several meetings with the tribal council before and kind of how we was going to lay this out. And one of the main things that kept coming up was food sovereignty. And a lot of times the relatives, they've said it numerous times before, they said that a tribe isn't sovereign if they can't feed themselves. And so with that thought in mind, we wanted to have a community garden. And the tribe had some tribal property that we put in probably about a half acre of community garden. And we put some Indian corn in there and planted tomatoes and potatoes and squash and zucchini and all these different types of vegetables. And we've also planted some fruit trees. We're looking at trying to expand this a little bit more each year, and the tribe's even talking about going into a chicken poultry. They've started to look at the possibilities and the different ideas of having hemp grown for using for making materials out of cooking things and being able to make fibers and those kind of things out of. So one thing that I've noticed since this project started was it started bringing a lot of unity back into our little community here. And a lot of times some of the stuff that we struggle with is being good to one another and helping one another. And I've seen nothing but good come out of this so far. A lot of people are willing to help.
My name is Ilona Maney, and my mother was Rose Maney. My father was William Prosper Maney. So, and my Indian name is Maro Chainga, and it means straight earth woman. It's a Bear Clan name. And I'm 76 years old. I was born in 1943. And I was born here at the old hospital. And my mom, Rose Maney, she came here from Chicago. We had a radio. That's all I can remember back in the 40s. If we didn't have a TV. And she would sing Indian songs. And she'd say, well, I'm going to teach you girls how to dance. my sister Diane, the Hinu, and myself and my younger sister, Axiga, Barbara. So she'd make us line up, and she taught us the rabbit dance, the bean dance, the green corn. It's pretty much the same. Everybody, you see people hugging each other. They didn't see them for maybe a whole year. Or you see them, people shaking hands with people, and powwow people. Powwow people are just, they're the best. They know how to get along with everybody. They like to dance, and it seems like it's the best thing for your inside, your soul, is that powwow, that drum. And that drum's real powerful. Ben Bearskin one time said, "Oh, when I'm out there dancing," he says, "I don't feel my aches and pains or anything." He says, "That's when I like to dance." So, and it's true. You can maybe have something wrong with your hip or your foot. You go out there and dance and you don't even feel your pains or anything. So that's why I say the drum's powerful. And your one tradition that you should always respect that drum. Respect those singers that are singing, because they took time to learn etiquette. They took time to learn them songs. And when they sing those songs, I'm sure they sing it from the heart and make it meaningful.
I'm Velma Alanese. I'm a Ho-Chunk teacher with the Ho-Chunk Renaissance. And I teach high school classes at the public school. Well, I grew up on a farm, so we planted corn in the spring, and then when it came harvest time, all the family got together and we harvested the Indian corn. And it was a lot of work because we had to go out in the field and pick the corn first of all. I was the oldest daughter, and my brother was driving we had horses then. So he drove the horses and the wagon. And then, so I kept the fire going, and when the corn was not really cooked all the way, but just cooked a little bit, and then we put it out on a sheet, well, actually it wasn't a sheet, it was a piece of canvas, I think it was. And then all the ladies and the women and the girls sat around and washed through the corn, took it off the cob. And then we put it just on plain sheets and let it dry. And then by that time I was through with the fire, so then I had to go and shoo the flies away from the corn while it dried. And that took a few days. So then at night we would bundle it all up and take it inside, and the next day we'd start all over again, and it took about 3 days for the corn to dry.
Winnebago green cornet, and we're going to ask our two head dancers, Ed Snowball and Helen Chelsea.
There was an elder gentleman who I really respected, and I'd go down there and listen to him, Mr. Stanford Whitewater. He told us that the Ho-Chunk people, when he was a little boy, in the fall, the clans would come together and they'd have a nice meal, and they would dance the green corn dance to give thanksgiving to the Creator for our harvest. And they danced the bean dance. And he said, nowadays we just do it at the powwow, and that's not even what we're supposed to be doing it for. We're supposed to be doing it for its purpose. And so we decided, working with Rolling Thunder, we decided to start having a harvest celebration and have that dance to give thanks. And so we've been doing this for over 20 years, having this harvest celebration.
The green corn dance, it was said to be led by a lot of the medicine men, and leaving the forefront. But over time, now that we perform it in the powwow, it's usually a man and a woman that starts this dance, and the singing that goes with it as well. They talk about the drum. Some I've heard talking to some of our relatives in Wisconsin that drum was started off with, that came from the lodge, and they brought that drum forth and used those songs on that drum and used the gourds that go with it that are also in the lodge. And so traditionally it said they say that it started with that, and then evolved over to using our big drum. So things have changed over times, but we still try to use what we're left with, and use what we know, and try to strengthen what we have. And so with our efforts here at Ho-Chunk Renaissance, we hope to do that in the best way we know how, and respectively, and asking the people to come forth to help us with that.
The green corn, when you're standing there, you're waiting for that circle to, go around the arena, and your partner's here, and you're here, and you're a partner here, and then a lady, then another partner and a lady. You're standing there waiting. What you're doing is, when you're standing there waiting for everybody to get up and get in a circle, it's almost like you're representing the corn stalk. You're standing there. And the thing is that when you're doing that, and then you should be kind of moving around in time with the drum. You're not necessarily moving your feet, but just moving your body a little bit, because the corn, when the wind blows, it moves. So the circle, when it's completed, and you hear the drum they start their verse. They're starting to tell a story. Okay, then you go side by side, and then you're starting, and your feet is a heel-toe movement. It's not a toe movement like that. It's a heel-toe, and that's when you're going with your partner. As soon as they hit that drum and they start another verse, then you start dancing. When you go out, you're dancing around that corn row. You pick a row of corn, you're going to dance along this way and then come back and come that way. But you don't have to go way, way out there. Just maybe about 3 feet away from your partner, because your partner's the one that's holding the circle as you're going. Because the women, when they dance that's a heel. It's a heel thing. Your heel goes out and comes in. It's kind of like that. So you hit your heel, bring it back. Hit your heel, bring it back. Like that. And then that's how you dance around that corn. No skipping. There was never any skipping. It's a heel, toe, or a heel. And you don't go over 10 feet away from your partner. Your partner's right there holding that spot, so that when you come back, you're together, and they'll start the verse again. Then you start going. Then they change again. Then you go heel, 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 all the way around, then come back to your partner. Because if you didn't have a partner there, where's the end of that row? you got the beginning, but then when you're coming back, where's the end of that row? It's right there where your partner's standing, because he's representing a stalk of corn too.
One of the things that we're doing is we're going through these certain movements, and we're appeasing the spirits. So we're showing the spirits respect for what they've done and what they're going to do, and then we're asking them to continue to take care of our food, take care of that, so that it'll be around for future generations.
Our people were social. We used to come together. We used to enjoy each other. And those dances actually helped to foster those kinds of feelings. Those were the dances that really unified our people and really brought us back together. You know, we're one people. We're unified. We have, you know, just like the song says, we're supposed to love one another. And those dances actually, I guess, epitomize that kind of a belief. And so when we do this green corn dance, I think I'm hoping that's going to be the beginning.
Oh, I like the green corn dance because especially when I was a teenager, then you got to go pick a boy to dance with you, you know. I like that.
How do we relate? Because everything we know has a spirit. But how do we relate to everything in our world? And we need to teach our children to reconnect to the plants, corn, beans, squash, that spiritual connection. And pray before we eat. Because, you know, in this day of fast foods, you know, who prays at McDonald's in the McDonald's line, right? We need to sit down as a family and reconnect with each other about things that happen during the day. Those are all the different traditions that I hope that we're bringing back, because our kids at the school are hungry for it. When I tell them about, well, on my Lakota side, we chose ani. It means balance, but it means interconnected with everything in your world, and they call it balance. And that's what I think we're doing, and our people really respond to it.
So one of the messages to the young youth is to be proud of who you are, be proud of being Ho-Chunk, be proud of being Winnebago, and come over there. Anytime you see a fire lit, or anytime you see something going on, people gathering, go over there and find out what they're doing. Anytime you hear a drum, go over there and sit on the side and just observe. And maybe there's somewhere in there that you can get up and you can help out. Maybe it's passing out food. Maybe it's doing some kind of work, waiting on the elders, those kind of things. Today we're losing that of having respect for our elders. You go down to the store or over to the gas station or something, and you see this old elder making their way towards the door, and this young youth will just cut right in front of them, not even hold the door open for them. You know, and if it wasn't for our elders, our lives would be a lot more harder here today. And so the message to the youth that I would like to really stress is to come around, to learn these things, because it's up to you to be able to carry these on, because one day you're going to find yourself in a situation in your life and you're going to wonder, what do I do about this? How do I handle these kind of things? And the elders, they're only around here for a little bit. They're only passing through for a little bit. And so we really need to encourage our kids. And that's the other thing, is that a lot of our younger parents, younger generation that have children, it's so easy to discourage a child nowadays, but it's a challenge to try to be encouraging to them. And that's what we're supposed to do, is we're supposed to be able to encourage each other, you know, that you did a good job, that you're doing a good job, keep it up. And so to encourage each other, that's where that comes from, is be good to one another and help one another.
So our efforts here at Ho-Chunk Renaissance have been a wild ride, you know, and we have experienced a lot of different things over the years. But, you know, recently we've seen a lot of resurgence of the interest in the children of our culture and our language. We've have done a lot of activities where we're adapting, you know, modern things to our language. For example, we're using bingo, we're using Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in the language, and drawing interest. And so with that, our children have been, you know, more eager to learn more and also to bring more light in their identity and who they are. And so I believe it's very important that our children understand those, and even our tribal members, because with our identity and even our spirituality, we will understand of who we are if we have the Creator and Mauna in our life, and that's a part of who we are as our Ho-Chunk people, is that we're a spiritual people, and using our language that was given to us by the Creator. It has healing power. It has a lot of things that can help with the wellness of our people. But we must return to our fires. We must return to our ceremonies. We must return to our old way of life, because that's what the Creator has sent us forth here, is why our skin's brown, why our hair is black, why our eyes are brown, and so forth. So we have to return to those, and embrace those, and also that spirituality, because with all of that, we will know who we are and where we come from. And once we face obstacles, that's what we're going to stand on as Ho-Chunk people.
Listen to those stories. They tell you a story. There's something in that story to teach you something. So listen. A lot of times today, they don't listen. And the foods and food, I'll tell you one thing. I says, nobody ever fought over food. And respect that food, because sometimes you won't have it. So you need to respect it. And the medicine, that Indian medicine, you can find it. It's all over around us. You have to learn what those are. My mom said that when she was small, her kaka, Mary Earth, was trying to show her some of that medicine. And she says, now I can remember I heard her, but I didn't listen. Pay attention to what they're telling you, because sometimes down the road, it's going to help you. Keep your heritage, keep your Indian songs, keep your Indian language, keep your Indian ways.
So often our people, we have conflicts, we disagree, we may not get along, but as a tribe, as a people, we need to remember that we're one family, and then we all should stick together when we face bigger obstacles. And so by doing this is a way to celebrate our identity and our culture of who we are, and remember those the ones that have gone on before us and told us these things, and they left us with these words that say, is they said to love one another. And so we often get caught up in our political scenes as well. And so by having our cultural gatherings such as this, it helps you create unity and helps to create forgiveness, or maybe learning something that you didn't know about someone in this capacity of our Ho-Chunk way of life.